So in these two readings, we have what you would call someone who is childlike and someone who is childish. So the difference between those, we want to be childlike. We don't want to be childish. To be childlike is to look at the world through the eyes of a child and to see through wonder the gift of so good a Heavenly Father. I think it was G.K. Chesterton, in one of his famous British writer, wrote once talking about the wonder that naturally is a part of a little child. He said that with an older child, with an adult, you need to tell them that a dragon is behind that door over there for them to have wonder. For a little child, all you need to do is just open the door, and that's enough for them to wonder. They're able to look at ordinariness. You ever notice this with like really little kids? They just take a blade of grass and they're just like, wow. Or they just take sand and put it between the toes of their feet and they're just enthralled. They see it as mysterious. Whereas we grow up, we sort of lose that wonder. We become more pragmatic. We kind of lose that sense of seeing the mystery that's there in the ordinary. And that's actually one of the reasons G.K. Chesterton would mention. This is one of the reasons why we have fairy stories. They're not so much for us when we're kids. They're actually to be told to us when we're kids so that we store up this wonder so that when we get older, that tank doesn't run dry and we don't lose that sense of wonder. That's why these stories are so powerful, and that's why, actually, as an adult, when you go back to them, you can discover the mystery of the gift of creation given to us by a loving Father. That's what it means to be childlike. Children, they cry out to their parents. They see everything as gift from them. And they say with boldness, I want, I need, I hurt. If I want to get the Life cereal at the top there, I just go like this to mom and dad and they pick me up and then I get it. There's this way in which they depend upon someone else. They realize that they're not self-sufficient. Even when they want to try to explore, they always kind of look back to see, do I have the strength of mom or dad there? So that's what we need to do with the Lord. That's what the Lord is saying here, saying, I've hidden the deepest mysteries. I've hidden this deep relationship with me, with my Father ultimately, and it's going to be given not to the wise and the learned, not to those who are sort of self-sufficient and kind of have figured out everything, but those who are open to wonder, those who are open to being childlike, of being able to recognize that there's so much more to this world given to us by a loving Father. So that's what we need to do, and that's what we need to do when we come before any of the sacraments. Many times we can just kind of rationalize them and say, okay, this is what, I've already figured this out, I know that this is Jesus' body and blood, boom, I'm done. It's kind of like we do with the Bible sometimes. It's like, yeah, I know that story of Noah, he got eaten by a whale, he got spit out, he said, you guys need to, cut it out. Nineveh says, yes, okay, we'll cut it out. The end. Sometimes we just kind of, in efficiency's sake, we sort of cut everything down, and it's nice and clean. But in doing that, we're not open to the mystery. The mystery of, what does it mean that God becomes here, transubstantiated, just entering deeply into what appears to be bread and wine that actually has become fully the body, blood, soul, and divinity of the Lord. And that same God wants to come inside of you in a very sacramental, very bodily sort of way. What does that mean? you see how we have to open ourselves to that mystery to really be able to appreciate what we're experiencing here? We are in the presence of angels. We are in the presence of all the angels and saints, billions and billions and billions of other beings. Every single angel is its own species. That's something actually Bonaventure and Thomas Aquinas would talk about. All of us are part of the human species. Every single angel, you're a guardian angel. So there's like one guardian angel, two guardian angel, three guardian angel. They're all with you. You've been assigned a guardian angel. Every single one of them is its own species. They're so radically brilliant and different and beautiful and amazing. And they're here with you always. Do you see how, as we grow up, we sort of lose that wonder to be like, wow, I have this amazing spiritual being, pure spirit, who loves me and is helping me to love God. There's so much more mystery to our world. And to have a child's heart, especially one who's getting ready to receive First Holy Communion, it can be a reminder of that excitement, that mystery of receiving the Lord as though it were our first time. This is one of the gifts that we're receiving in these days right now, is witnessing over and over and over again First Holy Communions. Don't lose the grace that's there. Become childlike, not childish. And this is what the first reading talks about. Childishness is being self-sufficient, saying, I don't need anyone to depend on. I can do it myself. That's what Assyria is being faulted for. Assyria is that they're the country, the ancient biblical country that is the fathers of modern terrorism. So they were nasty, nasty guys. And one of the things that happened is they were used as an instrument when Israel just kept falling and falling and falling and saying, I want to do it my own way. And the Lord's like, please come back, because there are consequences when we just start saying, I want to do things my way. When we fall into childishness versus childlike. And ultimately, Assyria would come and wipe out the 10 tribes of Israel. Would take all of them from the northern part of Israel, and they would never return. That's why when we talk about the Jewish people, we're really talking about Judah. That's the tribe that remained. And then they're taken over by Babylon. And then we continue that story with Esther and Daniel and all of those guys out in that area. And then they come back, and they're the people of Israel called the Jewish people, the people of the tribe of Judah. So Assyria here, though, starts to flaunt its own power, saying, nothing can stand in my way. I can do all of this myself. And the Lord says to them, you're not humbling yourself. Yes, you have power, but where did that power come from? And you've used it unwisely. And because of that, Assyria, you're going to be taken down. It says, instead of his glory, they will be kindling, like the kindling of fire. It's a powerful image there. To say, instead of the glory of this powerful tree that will just surpass everything in beauty, it's just going to turn into firewood. Because you're not rooted in a relationship with God. You're rooted in yourself. So let's be careful that we're not childish. Let's depend on the Lord for everything. Let's allow him to help us rediscover the gift that he gives. That is not something that we can control, something that we're owed, but is simply because he's a loving Father that wants to give us everything. He gives us everything when he gives his very, very Son to us. So receive that mystery like a child does.